Hello grade 12 students and welcome to a new Technical English 3 lesson. Today we will study Unit 5, Lesson 3, Part 2, Coursebook page 41 and Workbook page 26. Please open your books and let's start our lesson. Let's start with the objectives of today's lesson. After studying this lesson, you will be able to locate specific information after reading a text to complete 4 sentences. Present ideas for a prevention rule of a potentially dangerous situation, and write a rule for an activity, procedure, sport, or game. Let's have a look at our starter. Our starter today is a matching activity. You have to match the words on the left with their meanings on the right. You have 2 minutes to do this exercise. When you finish, play the video back again to check your answers. Welcome back, my dear students. Now let's check your answers. Our first word, we have 3 words on your left: devise, heading, prevent. Devise. What does devise mean? Devise means, excellent, devise means to invent a plan, system, object, etc., usually using your intelligence or imagination. Heading means to go in a particular direction. The last word, prevent means to stop something from happening or someone from doing something. Good. Before we start the lesson, let's have a look at some important new words. And let's start with the word apart. Apart means separated by a distance or by time. Collision means an accident that happens when 2 vehicles hit each other with force, as you can see from the picture. Next, we have the word potential. Potential means possible but not yet achieved. Our next word is the word evasive. Evasive means done to avoid something bad happening. Then we have the word incident. Incident means an event that is either unpleasant or unusual. The last word is the word military. Military means relating to or belonging to the armed forces. Excellent, my dear students. Now please open your course book, page 41, exercise number 5. In this exercise, we have 4 sentences, and you have to complete them. In order to complete them, you have to go to page 116 and read the text untitled Planes Just Meters Apart in Near Miss. You have 10 minutes to read the text on page 116 and complete the 4 sentences in exercise 5. When you finish, play the video again and check your answers. Go back and start to page 116, read the text, then complete the sentence, and you can start now. Now let me read the text for you and then check your answers. Planes just meters apart in near miss. Controllers insist there was no trace of light aircraft. A mid-air collision close to Malata's airport in April last year between a passenger jet and a light aircraft was avoided when the planes were just 180 meters apart. A report said only quick thinking by the pilot of an aircraft, Air Malata Boeing 737 or 737, making its final approach at the end of a flight from Rome with 80 passengers on board, managed to prevent a potential disaster over a populated area 2 nautical miles away from Malata International Airport. The Italian pilot of the light aircraft claimed that he couldn't find a suitable place to land and therefore had to make an emergency landing at MIA. The light aircraft wasn't seen by air traffic control and therefore entered Maltese controlled airspace undetected. Meanwhile, as the Boeing emerged from cloud at approximately 1,300 feet, the Air Malta pilot was shocked to see his aircraft on a collision course with the light aircraft. The Boeing pilot took evasive action and made a right turn, descending to 800 feet, followed by a climb. Then the Boeing descended further in order to avoid hitting the light aircraft with its left wing. I asked you just to scan the text. Scan means that you don't have to understand every single word in the text. Just read the text quickly, and if you read the text quickly, you will be able to answer and complete the sentences, because I'm not asking here for detailed information. Okay, now let's go and check your answers. Sentence number 1. The planes in the near-miss incident were how many meters apart? Good, 180 meters apart at their closest point. Number 2. The incident took place close to Space International Airport. Good, Malta International Airport. That's very easy. The pilot of the light aircraft was nationality, and I'm asking about his nationality. Where was he from? He was Italian. He was from Italy. Good. Number 4. To avoid a collision, the pilot of the Boeing 737 first turned the plane right or left? Good, right. Then descended to how many feet? 800 feet, climbed, and finally descended again. Good. Now please open your workbook, page 26, exercise number 1. Your job is to read the news story about a near miss and label the diagrams with the names of the 2 aircraft. We have 2 aircraft here. Hawk, the first one, and the Remis Cessna, the second one. Okay? You have 5 minutes to do the activity. When you finish, play the video again to check your answers. Welcome back, my dear students. Now, let's read the text aloud before answering the questions. Aircraft control procedures have been changed after near miss by 2 aircraft at a military airfield last June. The incident involved a Hawk training jet and a twin-engine turboprop Remis Cessna aircraft. The Hawk was about to land when the Cessna flew across the runway at a very low altitude. The air traffic controller in the control tower had given the pilot of the Cessna permission to fly northeast low over the airfield. Shortly before the incident, the air traffic controller was dealing with a high workload at that time and was controlling the movement of 5 different aircraft on 4 different radio frequencies. A report by the Civil Aviation Authority concluded that the controller was unable to handle this large workload, thus endangering aircraft in the area. There had also been a breakdown in the monitoring of flight levels around the airfield and the radio communications. Neither pilot was informed that the other craft were flying in the same area. The report added, neither pilot had time to take evasive action, and a collision was avoided by pure luck. At their closest distance, the 2 aircraft were about 150 meters apart. Staffing routes for air traffic controllers at the airfield have now been modified to ensure that this does not happen again. Now let's check your answers. What is number 1? Is it the Hawk or Cessna? Good, the Hawk. And number 2, Remis or Cessna. Now, you have to read the text again and to decide if the statements, the 5 statements here about the text in 1, true or false. If they are false, you have to correct them. Okay, so your job now is to read the sentences and read the text again, then decide if the sentences and the statements are true or false. You have 5 minutes to do the activity. When you finish, please play the video back again to check your answers. Welcome back, my dear students. Now let's check your answers. Number 1. Air traffic control procedures at the airfield are likely to be modified in future. What do you think? This is false. Why? Because air traffic control procedures at the airfield have already been modified. Number 2. The turboprop aircraft had permission to cross the airfield at low altitude. That's true. Number 3. The danger of a collision was caused by poor communication alone. No, that's false. False. Why? Because the danger of a collision was caused by several factors, not only one. The air traffic controller was unable to handle the large workload. Number 2. The breakdown in the monitoring of flight levels. Number 3. The breakdown of radio communications. Okay. Number 4. The air traffic controller intervened to warn the pilots about other aircraft. False. Because the air traffic controller didn't intervene to warn the pilots of the presence of other aircraft. The last statement. New staffing routes are likely to endanger aircraft at the airfield in the future. That's false, because new staffing routes are likely to reduce the danger of near misses at the airfield in the future. Good. Now let's go back to the course book, page 41. Exercise number 6. Let's read the instructions together. Work in small groups. I think you have to work alone. Discuss the dangerous situations below. Read the rules of the air and decide A. You have to decide 2 things. Which aircraft must take evasive action, and also you have to decide what action it or they must take. So you have to study the tables and the 4 diagrams carefully before you answer. Also, you have to use the rule of the air, part 1 on page 40. Take your time reading and writing your answers, and when you finish, please play the video again to check your answers. You have 5 minutes and you can start now. Now let's check your answers. Situation number 1. In situation number 1, B has priority. Why? Because it is descending. So A should take evasive action. Since they are both slightly on the left side of each other, A and B should turn right. They both should turn right. The second situation, A is the correct altitude for its heading, so should normally have priority, and if there is space, B should change altitude. However, if the distance is very close, A should also turn left or right to avoid collision. Now, writing time. Please, let's read the instructions in exercise 8. Let's move to exercise 8. You have to write the most important rules for an activity or procedure or sport or game that interests you. You have to write the rules of them. In this activity, you are free to choose any activity. You can choose any procedure you want, or can write rules of a sport or a game you like and write the most important rules for it. You will do this activity as homework. You can search information on the internet to get some rules. Make sure you use the language you have been studying in this section. Don't forget to use the language you have just studied. Okay? That is the end of our lesson today. I hope you enjoyed our lesson today. Till we meet again in a new lesson. Goodbye.